You report it calmly, the way you would report anything routine. You know what happened. You know when it happened. You even know the word for it. Loss, damage, theft. You say it without hesitation. And then, halfway through the call, the language changes. Not the facts, just the category. And suddenly, the thing that clearly happened no longer counts as something that happened. That's the paradox. The loss is real until it's given the wrong name. The confidence comes from familiarity. You've paid for cover. You've filed paperwork before. This feels like process, not risk. You describe the situation cleanly, almost helpfully. You're not trying to persuade anyone. You're just reporting an event that obviously belongs where events like this belong, until it doesn't. The first sign is subtle. A pause, a clarification. Someone repeats your words back to you, but slightly rearranged. Not what happened, how it's being understood. You correct them, instinctively. You're still confident. This is just alignment. But alignment is where it slips, because insurance doesn't protect situations. It protects definitions. And once your loss is placed into the wrong definition, everything that felt obvious stops mattering. This happens when a phone goes missing, not stolen in a dramatic way. No confrontation, no broken window, just gone. You explain it plainly. You didn't misplace it. You didn't give it away. You don't know where it is. The response doesn't argue with the disappearance. It reframes it. Lost, not stolen. Unattended, not taken. And that single shift moves the event from inside the policy to just outside it. Nothing about your experience changes. Only the box it's been placed in. You're still holding the same absence, but it's now the wrong kind. Another version happens after a small accident. Something breaks during normal use. No recklessness, no warning. You report the damage expecting a discussion about repair. Instead, you get a discussion about cause. Not what broke, but how it broke. Gradual wear, latent defect, accumulation over time. Words that feel technical, but do emotional work. Because once the damage is described as something that developed rather than something that happened, it stops being an event. And without an event, there's nothing to insure. You replay the moment in your head, trying to find the instant it crossed the line, the snap, the crack, the second it went wrong. But the policy isn't interested in moments. It's interested in classification. And classification happens after the fact, when the outcome is already locked. Homes make this even stranger. You notice damage and trace it back. Moisture where it shouldn't be. Warping, staining. You report it with relief, not panic. Finally, something explains what you've been seeing. But the explanation is exactly what removes it from cover, because the damage didn't arrive suddenly enough. It reveals itself slowly. And slow things, in insurance language, are not events. They're conditions, processes, states of being. And states don't trigger protection. What's unsettling is that none of this feels like rejection at first. It feels like translation. Like your experience is being carefully rewritten into the system's language. You're still talking about the same loss. You're just no longer talking about it in a way that counts. The mechanism is simple and cold. Coverage lives at the intersection of timing and definition. Miss either one, and the event collapses. Not because it didn't happen, but because it happened in the wrong shape. And once that shape is set, confidence becomes irrelevant. You can be calm. You can be detailed. You can be honest. None of that changes the category once it's assigned. The system isn't deciding whether to believe you. It's deciding whether what you're describing is allowed to exist inside the policy at all. That's why this feels personal, even when it isn't. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't say the wrong thing. You just assumed that reality would speak for itself. But insurance doesn't listen to reality. It listens to labels. And the final twist is this. The confidence you started with didn't come from ignorance. It came from trust. Trust that clear facts would lead to a clear outcome. Trust that naming a loss was enough to make it legible. The loss didn't disappear when it was denied. It disappeared when it was defined. And the moment you felt most certain that what happened counted was the moment the system decided it didn't.